Hi, I'm Elkie Holland from Prospectus IT Recruitment, and I've managed to catch up with Dan McGrath about his presentation at the NoSQL Matters Conference in Cologne earlier this year. Dan, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. It's been a long time.
It has. Now, what was you were presenting there? Now, what was the title of your presentation?
Yeah, the title was Rocket U2U Databases and the Multi-Value Model.
Okay. Before we actually go into it, could you just clarify NoSQL?
I really wish I could clarify it. It's one of those terms that really is a marketing term that so much context is put underneath of, and it's so many interpretations. There's obviously the two that you've heard of, not only SQL and NoSQL, but it's sort of a misnomer. It's not so much about the SQL side of it as giving programmers and developers choice. Previously, a lot of people have had a very narrow choice in databases, and this whole movement is about giving the developers the choice of the trade-offs they want to make in their system. For an example, there's a theorem called the CAP theorem, which is all about the trade-offs you need to make in a distributed system. And what they were doing is challenging those trade-offs and how configurable they want their database, other properties like that. So it's really about giving options into the database world when there hasn't traditionally been that many options.
Okay. How does Rocket fit into all this?
Yeah, and so we have three databases, M204, and the two that we're here talking about today, which is Unidata and Universe. We call them U2 collectively. Unfortunate search term when you try to find them.
Yes.
But really, we're on that same theme in that we give you a choice on how you interact with your database. We don't enforce the strict relational model if that's not what you want to follow. And we give you a very flexible data structure that you can sort of extend in ways that you want to extend. So it's all about us giving you choice as well, and that's how we fit into this space.
Okay. Now, obviously, Rocket was there. Now, what other sort of companies were there and presenting?
Yeah, it was actually really fun to be there. There were some interesting people to talk to. There was Salvatore from VMware, who works with Redis. There's Tengen, which are the people behind MongoDB. Google has a presentation, and it's always amazing to listen to Google and their insights as well.
Okay, I was going to say you were among some good firms there. So what exactly did your presentation contain?
Yeah, so what I tried doing with this presentation was just go through the fundamentals of our databases, because some people there probably hadn't heard of it before. So I think it was very important to touch upon the key concepts, the dictionaries, virtual dictionaries, and how you can have columns that don't really exist that you calculate and index on the fly. I also went through some of the exciting features that we have, such as our RESTful web services, automatic data encryption, and really just explained what the multi-value model is as well.
Okay. How was that received? What sort of reception did you get to the presentation?
It was good. I think we had some interest in it. I had some excellent conversations with people after. Some of the people come up to me and had a lengthy discussion after, which was exciting to have.
Okay. What was their main interest? What sort of thing do they really query? Was there anything they honed in on or particularly liked about, U2?
Yeah, I think there was two that they particularly liked. The first one was the automatic data encryption. I think that's something that's really been missing in this space, is that strong security presence. And our database is having automatic data encryption, where you can encrypt your data not only at the table or file level, but also at individual columns, and have those credentials stored in wallets. Was quite exciting to them. And the other one, which they thought was quite novel, was actually something we're both very familiar with in virtual attributes, your virtual dictionary items, and how you can index them so you don't need to store the duplicated data to be able to query and search upon them.
Okay. What sort of takeaways did you get from the conference then?
Yeah, I think the key takeaway when you were talking to the various companies there, and there was quite a few companies like AdCloud who are actively using a variety of NoSQL solutions, is that it's very important to consider databases as a toolbox as well. So if you currently have a hammer and you're having problems with a screw, you don't want to throw away the hammer and grab a screwdriver. You want to keep the hammer and get the screwdriver as well. So you're really building a toolbox. And I think the successful usage of NoSQL technologies really relates around growing your toolbox, not replacing one universal tool with another universal tool, because you're going to run into the same problems that you had with your original tool.
Okay, so how does this apply to U2 databases?
That's a good question, and I think that's really where this toolbox concept comes in. So a U2 database is extremely good at being a back-end enterprise database, has strong consistency, recoverable file system, replication for high availability, automatic data encryption, but what it can benefit from is linking up with some of these other databases. Take Redis for an example, which is an advanced key store stored in memory and does some synchronization to disk. So that really allows you to have maybe a caching layer in your application where you can store stuff in very fast access in memory and the features it provides you, while still having that highly secure enterprise backend. So it's all about leveraging all these different technologies at different layers in your stack and getting the best out of them where they're best at.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully you'll be presenting at more NoSQL conferences as well.
It will be fun to do so.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Elkie.
Thank you for joining me.
Bye.
Bye.